Let's talk about a skill that can literally change your life. It's the one thing that, weirdly enough, most schools never actually teach us: how to learn. And I'm not talking about just studying harder. I mean learning faster, better, and in a way that actually sticks. Let's dive in. You know that feeling when you're staring at a textbook, rereading the same paragraph for what feels like the 100th time, and you just think, I'm just not smart enough for this, or I'm just bad at studying. It is such a common, frustrating feeling. But I want you to hear this loud and clear. That feeling, it's not your fault. The problem isn't you, it's not your intelligence, it's not your focus. The problem is almost always the methods you were taught in the first place. So let's start there. Let's diagnose the real issue. Why does traditional school so often feel like this massive uphill battle against our own brains? Well, think about this huge disconnect. On one side, you've got the school's way. Pure memorization, just overloading you with facts, often with zero context or a real reason why it even matters. But then on the other side, you've got what your brain is actually built for: deep understanding, applying ideas, and making connections. See the problem? The system is often working against our brain's natural wiring. So if just memorizing stuff isn't real learning, then what is? To answer that, we need to totally shift how we think about the whole process. Real learning is actually a physical thing happening in your head. It's not about stuffing information into some temporary storage locker for a test. It's about your brain literally building new connections, forging new physical pathways. These pathways are what give you the power to truly understand a topic so well you can use it, explain it to someone else, and even mix it with other ideas. This really gets to the heart of it. The goal is to gain in ability, not just to hold on to a memory. You know, it's like learning to ride a bike. Once you've built those connections, it just becomes a part of you. It's effortless. All right, so now we know the problem and we know what the real goal is. So let's get practical. I'm going to give you a whole new toolkit. 3 super powerful techniques you can start using like today. Okay, first up, visualization. This one's a game changer, and there's some really cool science behind it. It's based on an idea called dual coding theory. Basically, our brain processes pictures and words in totally separate channels. So when you can see an idea in your mind and describe it with words, you're encoding it twice. That makes the memory way, way stronger and easier to pull up later. And hey, you do not need to be an artist for this. It's super simple. Just turn an abstract idea into a picture. So if you're learning about a cell in biology, don't just read about it. Picture it as a tiny, bustling city. The mitochondria, those are the power plants, right? Just drawing a rough sketch or using a few colors forces your brain to engage on a much, much deeper level. Next up, we've got a technique from an actual Nobel Prize-winning physicist, Richard Feynman. This one is all about getting to that true, deep understanding, not just being kind of familiar with something. The process sounds almost too simple, but it's brilliant. First, you pick your topic. Second, you try to explain it in the simplest terms you can, like you're teaching it to a kid. Now, the moment you stumble or you have to use some complicated jargon, that's step 3. Boom, you've just found a gap in your own understanding. So you go back to the book to fill in that gap. And finally, step 4, you polish your explanation, maybe use a great analogy. The whole idea is, if you can't explain it simply, you don't really get it. All right, our last tool is designed to fix the single biggest mistake that almost all of us make when we study, just passively rereading our notes over and over again. And the difference is just night and day. Passive rereading feels like you're learning, but it's an illusion. The retention is incredibly low. Active recall, on the other hand, is where the magic happens. It taps into something called the testing effect. The research is clear. The simple act of trying to retrieve information from your brain strengthens that memory way more than just seeing the information again. So close the book. Quiz yourself. It's the struggle to remember that forges the strong connections, not just passively looking at the page again. Okay, so we have our tools: visualization, the Feynman technique, and active recall. Now, let's put it all together into a simple, actionable blueprint you can use to learn literally any skill you want, starting from scratch. Here's your game plan. Step 1, be specific about your goal. Don't just say, learn to code. Say, learn the basics of Python. Step 2, get the fundamentals down solid. Don't skip ahead. Step 3, use visualization. Draw a mind map. Make some simple diagrams. Step 4, practice every single day, even if it's just for 15 minutes. Consistency beats cramming every time. And finally, step 5, and this one is so important: make a mini project. You will learn so much more by actually doing something than you ever will by just watching someone else do it. And when you start putting all of this into practice, something amazing happens. Learning stops being a chore. It really becomes a genuine superpower that starts to impact every single part of your life. And I mean, look at these benefits. We're talking about a better career, for sure, but it goes so far beyond that. We're talking sharper decision-making, way more confidence, a boost in creativity, and even better mental health. Learning for life keeps your brain young and sharp. So let's end on this thought, because it's the most important one. You are not bad at studying. Your brain is not broken. You were just using the wrong software. But with the right methods, the right tools, you can master absolutely anything you set your mind to. This changes everything. So, with this new superpower, I guess the only question left is, what are you going to learn first?